Hey guys, welcome back to another Warframe video. Some of you guys may want more shitpost statuses, but I can't do those all the time. I have to space them in between actual content. Even though the actual content doesn't get a whole lot of traction, YouTube is a funny place. In this video, we're gonna take a quick look at that new Ghoulsaw everyone was sort of excited for, I guess. Probably not anymore, but hear me out. The Ghoulsaw is actually half decent. It's just that it's got one problem, which is kind of difficult to fix with mods alone. And no, it's not really the crit chance. But before we get to the performance side of things, I want to talk about the way this thing looks. If you'd like to skip forward, as always, timestamps are in the description. The Ghoulsaw, surprise surprise, looks like a giant saw. Probably didn't take the devs too long to port the existing model used by the ghouls into something we can wield. It looks nice, and I do like the sort of engraved pattern on the sawblade, which actually spins. I just wish they gave this thing higher resolution textures. It's kind of the problem with most things in Warframe. I guess they have a sort of asset size limit or budget to work with. Still, sharper textures would have been nice. Also, not many weapons in this game can be made to look like proper power tools, which is what I've attempted here with a simple yellow paint job. Okay, Melon, I guess it looks like a power tool, but does it actually have any power behind it, if you know what I'm saying? Well, kinda. I mean, let's get the steel path concerns out of the way first and foremost. The Ghoulsaw won't be adequate for steel path missions. Maybe against the infested, and even then maybe when the Riven disposition gets set to 1 or higher, but just because a weapon is not really viable for steel path doesn't mean it's a bad weapon. Warframe is much more than just steel path. At a glance, the crit chance of 15% and crit multiplier of 1.9x might push away most players from attempting a build on this thing, but those two stats are not really the problem. It's the attack speed. Now look, if this is the first ever video you're watching on this channel, then I'll tell you right here, I like a lot of attack speed. So if I say something has just enough attack speed for me, then it's probably more than enough for most other players. So take my words for what they are, just my opinions. With that said, I really think the Ghoulsaw is heavily lacking in attack speed, to the point that it becomes quite a significant detriment to the overall experience of using the thing, even against weak enemies. I've tried to raise the attack speed as much as I could with mods. Obviously a combo of Primed Fury and Berserker Fury is no longer possible, and even if it was, considering the base crit chance of 15%, it's not really the best thing to do. So then I tried Primed Fury with Quickening, raising the attack speed from 1 to 1.95. Even with these two mods, it's still kinda slow through the swings. It's bearable, I think, but keep in mind I've only really tested this in the simulacrum against regular Grineer Lancers. With a condition overload build, you can easily kill level 150 Lancers. It's just kinda slow because slow weapons don't go well with a condition overload build. Slow weapons don't go well with anything. If you main a Wisp or Volt, then the attack speed becomes a non-issue, of course. The weapon is pretty capable once it gets up to speed, so to speak. Otherwise, it's kinda cumbersome to use. Okay, if the regular attacks are not fast enough, maybe the Ghoulsaw could be a great candidate for a heavy build. Well, not really. While I think it does decent damage with the heavy attack, the wind up is pretty slow too, unfortunately. For comparison, something like a dagger type weapon tends to have a base wind up of around 0.4, and the pennant has a wind up of 0.7. You can kind of fix this, of course, with mods like Amalgam Organ Shatter and Killing Blow, but there's only so many mods you can stuff into a weapon. Sacrificing slots to fix the slow heavy attack wind up is probably not worth it. I'll admit I haven't done in-depth testing and don't really intend to for this weapon. Maybe the Ghoulsaw is better off with a heavy build, in which case please do feel free to let me know down in the comments. Here's the build I kind of settled on for the Ghoulsaw. Could probably be improved, but since I couldn't really bring the attack speed up to my preference, this will just have to do for a video. I mean, if it can slice level 150 Grineers, then it's probably gonna destroy the level 40 and 80 enemies, which are far more common in Warframe outside of the tryhard modes like Steel Path. Heck, it's probably even good for arbitrations. One crucial aspect of the Ghoulsaw I haven't touched upon yet is the stance. It's a new stance mod for a new weapon type. I can't say I'm entirely in love with it. I'll just have to try it out for yourself. Though I have a feeling not a lot of you guys are gonna like the combos either. I kind of find some of them limiting in that you can't move forward while performing attacks. It kind of forces you into another combo which you don't want, and honestly, other than the saw riding one, which is kind of cool I guess, none of the combos are really notable. I'm not sure if any one of the moves or combos do things like forced slash procs, but even if they did, You just can't fix that attack speed. The Ghoulsaw could have been a really good weapon if it received perhaps higher base status, maybe 30 to 35% to kind of make up for the lack of crits and attack speed, or the devs could have kept all the stats as is and given it a chunky boost to attack speed. Trust me when I say attack speed is really important, because if you can't kill enemies fast enough, someone else in a squad is going to take that kill away from you, potentially ruining the experience. But that statement kind of points a discussion towards the meta and overpowered nuke frames needing to be nerfed. In conclusion, the Ghoulsaw is good if you run a frame like Wisp or Volt. It's okay at best otherwise. Do you guys agree or disagree? I'd love to read your thoughts down in the comments below. If you thought this video was somewhat entertaining or even helpful, please do consider watching the next 20 seconds. You see that channel logo down there? Go ahead and tap or click on that. It'll take you to the channel page. Once you're over there, have a quick look around, and if you vibe with the content, please do consider subscribing. If you do actually subscribe, thank you. Also, you might want to hit the bell icon too, because otherwise YouTube gets to decide what videos to stuff into your feed, because YouTube thinks it's smarter than you. Don't let that bot win. There's also a private Discord server you can join through Patreon from just $1. That's like what a can of soup costs. And I need many cans of soup every month. Not addicted or anything, I swear. Please, help me.
You should watch these. They are great.